Jeep Ram line at 585-206-8866.
Hi, guys. My name's Christine. I'm otherwise known as Mrs. Alfie. And I'm just wondering, can you let Alfie know on his way home, can he pick up some bread and some ham? And also, we went to Alaska at the beginning of July. Okay? Bye, guys.
And be sure to like and subscribe to Billified wherever you get your podcasts.
You weren't here when Alfie was on.
I was here.
Oh, yeah. I was
here.
Oh, yeah. Now I remember. I remember.
Yeah.
That's right. Yes. And I didn't mean to play that one again, but I think Alfie gets a kick out of his wife called. I want to try to call this woman, Tabitha. Tabitha was the one who had the French bulldog snatched out of her arms, and then she ran after it, grabbed on, tried to climb through the window to get the French bulldog back. It was literally like this woman drove by, reached out, and snatched it out of her hands at a gas station. And then she chased this woman down, I think it was Monroe Ave in the city of Rochester.
A lot of stuff going on Monroe Ave.
A lot of things just going on with
on the wrong side of Brighton
with Tabitha. So I don't know that she'll answer, but I'm secretly hoping that she will, because I have a question for Tabitha. And by the way, hustler, making it work.
Yeah,
you know, I am impressed by the things I see with her, but I don't think she's going to answer. Maybe she'll call us back later on.
The advice of my attorney. No comment. That's funny.
I don't usually answer the I get a lot of calls from people on Facebook.
Oh, do you really?
Oh, yeah.
I used to, too, until I got rid of it.
I don't, sometimes I don't answer because I always think, well, maybe they butt dialed.
Isn't it amazing how we used to pay for phone calls? And now that's on Facebook. I can just call anybody I want.
Maybe I butt dialed or something, but no. All right. Well, we'll wait on that. St. John Fisher went into lockdown yesterday, and
saw that.
A friend of mine who, and we'll talk to Deputy Hurley about that at 7:30. But a friend of mine who's a professor over there, I thought he did a pretty good thing. He sent me video of him. He allegedly broke into the dean's office and found a bottle of Jameson and got little Dixie cups and handed out shots to the students that were 21. I think he was higher level class.
400 level?
Yeah, something like that. So most of them were 21, and they're out in the hallway. And he goes, well, I don't know if I'll get in trouble. But I thought, if the school goes into lockdown and you don't know why, your mind races a million different ways. So to have somebody who's, I thought it was, I know this is a way overused term, brilliant, but I thought it was brilliant in that I made you think of something other than. And that's exactly what I mean when I say go for the better feeling thought. You know, if this thought makes you feel shitty, go for the better feeling thought. There's got to be something that's better.
Wasn't that the premise of the movie Life is Beautiful? They're being detained by the Germans, and so the guy doesn't scare his kid.
Right.
He says, "We're going on a competition to win a tank."
Yes. Yeah. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Brilliant.
Totally distracted the kid.
Totally distracted. And I felt sort of that was what this professor was doing last night when he sent me the video, and I thought that to me was a great thing because we don't know anymore. You don't know. If it goes into lockdown, you think somebody's shooting immediately.
Yeah.
I would assume. I would probably think, oh, God, who farted? You know what I mean? Something stupid. However, that doesn't mean that's how everybody is, and I don't know.
It's funny is that, you and I both went there, and Fisher, like I used to tell people when I went back home, I go, it's like the safest place in America. Like nothing even remotely dangerous happens there, and I can't say that anymore now after this incident that happened last night, because like nothing ever happens there.
I remember some things happening.
When you were there?
Yeah.
I mean, I know that Jennifer Kuhn was killed, but that was off campus. But that was off campus.
Oh, yeah. You mean on campus?
On campus. I'm talking about like on.
No, I don't even. Nah.
On those park acres in Pittsford that they like the brag about 45 Park Lake acres or whatever they call them.
Is it?
Nothing ever happens there.
No.
Nothing.
No. That's true.
The only thing they get in trouble for is underage drinking.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to write you up.
No, I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, nothing.
No, nothing does. That's a fair point. I didn't, because I remember a couple different. I remember a fight that was pretty bad, but it was at off-campus housing.
U of R stuff happens all the time.
Yeah.
They're in the news like every 6 months for something, you know?
Yeah, but I hadn't heard
Not trying
that.
to compare schools.
Now, listen, this is a news story that came today, and you have to forgive me because, of course, the buttons changed colors on me, and I don't know what. Now I've got two pink. I don't know how that happened.
Okay,
I have no idea. But this is a very bizarre news story. And I saw it, and I thought, how does this happen? How does this happen? Well, that's not it. Wait, this is it. Yeah, this is it, because it took a little. How does this happen? Listen to this story. It is outrageous.
Over a couple hours, my face just started swelling. So my lips swelled. I could hardly talk. My whole face felt like it was on fire.
First Coast News is not
Okay.
Allergy attack.
Well, it sounds like that.
Right.
Sounds like an
Sounds
allergy
like
attack.
it.
Yeah.
identifying the man from this procedure, but the patient said he began feeling off in October of 2023. 30 years ago, he had neuroblastoma, which removed a cancerous tumor in his nose and left him with an extremely compromised immune system. Over the course of a few
Okay, so he has a compromised immune system, probably deals with a lot of sinus, stuff like that, you know, colds, things that are that most of us will be able to kind of fight off. Yeah.
hours last week, his face became extremely swollen.
I started getting nosebleeds, constant nosebleeds. I couldn't even get up to go to the bathroom without my nose starting to bleed.
And that's when he went to HCA Florida Memorial Hospital.
When I went for the examination, the doctor goes, "I see movement."
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. What is up his nose?
This will freak you out.
Yeah.
This will freak you
It's
out.
like a stink bug or something.
Oh, well, we would
You
think.
smell it, right?
Now, you would, okay, but it's a weird thing. Like, the other thing is, I have a deviated septum from getting punched in the face.
Okay.
So my nose is all crooked.
You really can't tell.
And if you look at it close enough, you can. But it's
I'm gonna
there.
look.
It's a good sized nose anyway. Sure. So
Groucho Maranimal.
yeah. So I get up in the morning and I'll take a tissue sometimes and twist it. This is really lovely. And I'll go up the nostril side because there's a big.
You can make a U-turn and go out the other side?
No.
Oh.
But there's a big bubble on one side, so I go up around it and try to pull things out. Sometimes it gets stuck up there. It's lovely. It's a lovely thing. So I'm thinking that's with this guy. How did you not go up, if you know what I mean, and try to see what's in there? What was it?
Dr. David Carlson was the ENT on call that night.
We took a little camera and we looked in the nose, and that's when things dramatically changed.
Dramatically changed, Daniel.
Was it pieces of his brain?
Well, that's a good thing.
Because like the Egyptians, when they used to remove, I watched this on NCIS last night. They remove your brain through your nose, which I knew back in 6th grade. But the reminder was last night on NCIS. My wife watches these shows to fall asleep. I'm like,
to fall asleep?
I'm like, yeah.
That's your bedtime story?
That's her bedtime story.
What
Watching
the fuck?
Dr. Mallard, who recently passed away. They removed the brain through the nose tissue.
Yeah.
Jethro.
Well,
So I'm wondering maybe it's pieces of his brain are coming.
Dozens of bugs, alive and feeding on the inside of the patient's nose and sinus cavity.
Size-wise, there was variations, but some of the larger ones were probably as big as the end of my pinky.
the end of your pinky, Dan. Right here. Look at the end of your pinky.
Now your pinky's bigger than mine.
Yeah.
I have small hands.
No, but that's still a good sized bug in your nose.
Yeah.
That's a good sized bug in your nose.
Just hanging out. How'd it get there?
Digging it. Great question. Great question. Compromised immune system. I don't know that an immune system fights off something that's coming
Bugs?
in. I don't know.
I knew he was in
Blood
big
cells.
trouble. There was erosion that was occurring up near
Erosion. And that's not erosion, folks.
What is like the glacier?
They ate the inside of this man's nasal cavity.
what we call the skull base that was in very close proximity to his eye and his brain.
So they could have gotten up into his brain.
Oh my gosh.
Right. And his whole face had swollen up, and that was his indicator to go.
Dr. Carlson immediately tried to remove the bugs.
Now listen to this. Tries to remove the bugs. Operative word, tries.
Tries.
We initially attempted to try to remove these via suction with a little device, but it ended up clogging up the suction. They were large enough I couldn't get them through the suction.
Oh my gosh, they plugged up the vacuum.
Some of them were so big that the thing they stuck in his nose couldn't get through. How in the hell?
So they had basically
Now, I don't know. I wish I could find this guy because I have lots of questions, including, I already know the answer. You have no woman in your life.
Yeah.
There is no way.
They would have interviewed the wife. There's no way he has a wife. They would have interviewed the wife. You'd have to interview the wife. You'd have to put the wife on camera.
I'm not even saying that. If she refused and said, I don't want to, I can't, I'm uncomfortable. There's no way he's waiting as long as he did
to go to the doctor.
One, because this began in October of 2023. We're talking about it now. This is a recent news story. I'm not going to say that it happened this week, but sometime this month. So we're October, November, December, January, 4 months later.
Right.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's one.
You have bugs colonizing inside your nasal cavity.
Two, how dirty
is your house?
Yes, Doug Phelps. How dirty is your house?
Yeah, it's part of my act for County the Carlson. I'm emceeing on Thursday night, and one of my acts is going to be about old ladies and, bugs in my nose.
So my question is, if it's that dirty, no way. No way. I remember I was so happy as a child, so excited when I got sent home from school because they found lice in my hair.
So you could stay home?
Yeah, I didn't want to be in school.
Oh, my gosh. Your parents had to be so embarrassed.
My parents were mortified, but it wasn't.
We're the lice family.
No, it wasn't. There was another kid.
Okay.
I remember his first and last name, Patrick Rolfe.
Oh, this poor guy.
And Patrick was like...
Welcome to Billified, Patrick.
Patrick, I don't know what happened to Patrick.
You were the lice kid.
I don't know, but...
we're going to find out.
Patrick had it, and I sat next to Patrick. So they popped over. And it was like all of us in a vicinity.
That's what they tell you at school. Lice are like crabs. They'll jump.
Yeah, it was Patrick Rolfe, me, Ricky Hare, Nancy Hart.
Ricky Hare got lice.
Ricky Hare. Ricky Hare, H-A-R-E. Ricky Hare.
I bet that guy's got tattoos now, doesn't
I remember Ricky Hare's dad was from Scotland, and he loved AC/DC.
Oh, yeah, of course he did. That's the first band that came to mind.
Fucking loved him.
I'm sure he's got ink on his...
I don't know. Ricky Hare's dad was a cool guy.
Reminds me of Ricky Rackman.
But we were in second or maybe second grade, and I was just happy to go home.
That's usually where lice starts, is second grade.
But let me just say, again, disgusting. Your parents were mortified. We don't keep a house like this. Like I remember it was like you had to buy the special shampoo. My father's washing my hair.
Rit.
Yeah,
it had the little stop sign on it. Yes. They had to take a fine-tooth comb.
So you had it?
My sister got it.
Ah.
So they stopped doing this. So here's what happened. Back in Silver Creek. Picture it, Silver Creek, 1987, right? So there was a lice breakout in the school in Mrs. Fox's class, God rest her soul, third grade. They had to exterminate the classroom.
Is it weird that my head feels itchy as we're talking about this?
Right. Well, mine too. So then all of a sudden, there were more and more kids getting lice. It was going through the school. So they had to call off school for a couple of days. So, of course, my next door neighbor decides that she's going to use this opportunity to run for school board. She made a freaking career out of it. Channel 2 News was talking about the lice outbreak in Silver Creek Central School.
Oh.
And my sister had it. So we all had to get checked for lice.
Yeah.
What they found out was the kids would get to bring the special person of the day.
remember the nurse.
Got to bring home a teddy bear.
Yeah.
But this is the 80s where we didn't know any better.
Hey.
And so they'd all share these stuffed animals.
Yes.
And that's how it would spread from kid to kid.
Right. I remember the nurse, Mrs. Blackburn. I think her name was Blackburn. Or she got remarried. She was a redhead, but she had short red hair. But I always in my perverted third grade mind go, and I didn't even know this at the time, but I always thought, I bet she was really pretty when she was younger. Now I would go, man, you should have seen her 20 years ago. It's terrible.
Well, you bring up the school nurse and the lice.
Yeah.
So we used to have to go to get lice checks.
Yeah.
So they break the stick and they go through your hair. And I got to tell you, this is going to sound really strange, but I loved it.
Yeah.
It was so soothing.
Yeah.
I would ask Mrs. Becker, can I go get a lice check?
Oh,
she goes, you don't have lice. You just got checked 2 months ago.
Yeah, but
I really could use a lice. She would,
you just like the way it felt.
Yeah. She would call my mother, your son doesn't have lice.
Do you remember?
He's addicted to going to get lice
what
checks.
Did you say some of your family says about you? What do they say about you?
That I'm on the spectrum?
Yeah. So hang on now. Hang on a second. Hang on now. Sensory.
My wife, too.
Sensory is a big deal. Sensory issues. So that's a sensory thing. I like the way it feels.
Oh, my gosh. It felt so good.
And so
if I could go back and do it again, I would.
Yeah, okay. So sensory stuff. And do you like sometimes soft blankets, soft things?
Yeah, I do.
Sometimes rough thing, like a sock with certain things on it, help a kid. There's just different stuff.
Yeah.
You may be.
Deep tissue massages?
I don't fucking know. I'm totally kidding you.
you're
But
just
yes, I
making
do.
stuff up?
No, I'm not. Though that's all real. Sensory things are very real with people and helping kids. That's why some kids, some people, not kids, anybody, human beings.
Mm-hmm.
Some people like to like be tight, have the blankets tight around them because it just feels cozy. It's a sensory thing.
Yeah.
It just feels better.
Yeah.
That's all.
I'm a very snuggly guy.
Back to
That's my wife. She's like, hey, my wife is the opposite.
To
She's
the
like,
point of fucking annoyance.
she's like, I can't sleep with someone with their arm
because
around
you're
me.
breathing heavy in
Yeah.
her ear.
Oh, yeah.
You're snoring. You
put on extra weight.
Smell that good. All right.
Yeah.
Now back to the man
Switch
with
deodorants.
the bugs. I did too, and I have an issue. I have another issue.
Oh,
with
really?
this.
Oh, we got to get to that.
We'll get to it.
I do too, but go ahead.
This is the bugs in the nose. Back to the bugs in the nose. So I just said the lice and how upset my mom in the house. So, oh my God, people won't want to come here, think we're dirty, blah, blah, blah.
Which, by the way, if you have lice in your hair, it means you have really clean hair. Lice can't hang on to like dirty hair. I don't know if you knew that. It's one of those things where
Patrick Rolfe didn't have clean hair. He was a dirty
for
kid.
some reason, the cement that the lice use to build their nests in your head.
You don't know.
No, for real. Like it
God.
can't attach to dirty hair.
You don't know.
Okay, fine. What do I know?
You don't.
So we ended up having to remove them one by one using different instrumentation.
One by one. Different because they couldn't suck him out of his
They're going to
nose.
get the Chilean miners out of his nose.
Yeah, you know what?
Did they put him out? Or could they put him out? Because
don't-
you can't breathe through your nose.
Well, listen to this.
And it hurt because they weren't coming willingly either.
150 bugs in the larva stage were
150 bugs. They had to pull out 150 bugs, and you just hope they got them all.
They were
pulled out of the patient's nose and have been sent off to an epidemiologist to determine what type of bug they are.
They're called ew. Hang on.
They were up right against his skull base, right underneath the brain. Had they gone through that, it could have killed him.
This case is extremely rare. There's nothing like it documented in the United States.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank God.
Nothing like it documented in the United States.
However,
well, I don't know. I mean, it could. I mean, could it be that someone died and I'm sure on an autopsy they would have found it. So nothing documented. So where does this come from? And where in the world is it happening? And why would it happen here? Is this something that happens like in South America where people, I don't know. Listen to this guy.
And while Dr. Carlson doesn't want to cause widespread panic, he does caution people with compromised immune systems.
Certainly if you're going to be around a dirty environment, those hands need to be washed.
I know that I have to change my lifestyle.
Yeah, with soap. Soap? Down south, they call it soap.
Let me introduce you to a bath.
Water.
As far as how I handle fish before I was.
So fish. So I don't know if he's a fisherman. And then you wonder, were there parasites or something in the fish?
Could be.
And then he picked his nose, which sounds silly.
Yeah, but
right?
it could happen.
Rinse my hands in the river. You know, now.
So he would rinse his hands in the river. So
Yeah.
I don't know what this
He
guy
was
does.
hillbilly hand
I
fishing.
got a lot of questions.
Yeah.
I got a lot of questions.
I'll use a cleaner to just do a better job in between and make sure I don't touch my nose with my hands.
The patient was given an antiparasitic and will be evaluated 3 to 4 times a year, but is expected to make a full recovery. Reporting in Jacksonville, Rich Donnelly, First Coast News, on your side.
So this is Florida. So the guy is fishing, washes his hands in the river. Who knows how filthy, dirty the water is? Usually you would think the water is, pretty clean. A lot of people
Would
think.
you wash your hands in Lake Ontario, Billy? Exactly. Yeah. Right, there you go. There's
Well,
your
hang
answer.
on. I've jumped into Lake Ontario.
Yeah, but what? Yeah, okay. You jump in with the idea that when I get home, I'm going to bathe.
I don't know.
I'm
that
gonna
I
wash
did.
myself.
I think there were times I jumped in the bay
Okay.
and I didn't bathe.
All right.
I might have gone to bed.
Well,
Might have passed that.
okay.
But I remember I used to jump off a boat a lot. There was a period of time in my life where I spent a lot of time down there.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
No, I understand. I hear what you're saying. There are other people, though, Dan, that believe that water holds all the knowledge of the world and God. Like it is the most. There are people that believe that.
well, Jesus was baptized.
That's part of the reason.
He was dunked. He wasn't sprinkled.
Yes.
People.
All right. So
get that
anyway,
clear.
a bizarre story.
Yeah.
Scary story.
I know.
Right? We've heard of things in people's ears and stuff. Not good. This was bizarre. And they show you in the news They even go graphic. You have to click it twice because you want to see it. But they look like maggots. Like you would see. You ever see maggots in a garbage can or something? Yeah. They look like that.
Little mealworms.
And they're like digging into the guy's nose and eating away. And it's a moist environment. And
did the ASPCA show up and say, "No, you cannot kill the maggots. We'll take them," no. Like they did with us one time?
Yes, they did. That's right. When I was going to do the goldfish,
experiment.
That's a good one. I forgot that.
That was a great show.
Yeah.
Oh,
I forgot.
That was one of our top 10 shows, maybe top 5. That won you an award.
Yeah.
At Morning Show Boot Camp. You won like $500 for Bit of the Year.
Yeah, I did. That is true. That is true.
A lot of people were jealous.
Yeah, it also caused problems within the radio community.
Yeah, it did. You're right. It did. I forgot about that. You're right.
Problems.
Yeah, we had
whatever. I don't know.
Good times.
Yeah, but it's
coming out in the book.
It's coming out. There's a lot of work. I'm tired. I'm tired, and I would refer to myself as a little burnt these days, just tired. And I think I'm sleeping like 5 hours a day.
You know what you really need? I mean this utmost sincerity. Last year, my word for you was temperance. Remember that?
Yeah.
This year, my word for you is Sabbath.
Yeah.
Take one day off a week.
Well, so I've just been trying to do all. I for whatever reason, I'm like motivated, but today I'm like, I'm tired. So I gotta balance this a little bit.
It bounced back, Philly. Take a day off.
We will take a moment. Deputy Hurley's going to join us, talk a little bit more about what went down at St. John Fisher College. Matter of fact, I'll play a little bit of the news coverage of it. And there is something that the police teach, and I think this professor handled it perfectly. We'll get to all that next. But first,